for joining me for One Mallet in Front of the Other. Before we dig in, I'd like to thank the Wexner Center for giving me and other artists this platform to share our work, our processes, and some of our thoughts during this unprecedented time of global pandemic and protest. So when all this first began, I felt this sort of constant pull between my own sort of natural introvert tendencies and thinking, wow, this is like some kind of amazing introvert utopia where I can go to arts events all over the world without having to leave my house. But at the same time, it was clearly not an introvert utopia because there's also a deadly global pandemic. And so I felt really pulled between that desire to make the most of this time and having the extra time as someone who is able to work from home and thinking of it as like this kind of artist retreat or feeling like I had to take advantage of it that way, but also knowing that there was so much uncertainty and fear and suffering in the world for that same reason. And so I guess I just felt really pulled between those. As an artist, I kind of initially found it a really difficult time to make art because I was experiencing that pull in so many different directions, right? Feeling the pressure that I had to be making art that was commenting on the times or making some kind of big, important statement on the times, and feeling like I had to do it really perfectly and say a lot. But also feeling that need to be taking care of my own mental health, physical health, emotional health during everything that was going on, and then balancing that against doing as much as I can to support the people who are on the front lines of this, right? So the essential workers, the activists now who are protesting, and so all those different directions made it hard to feel like making art was important. Today what I want to talk about is how I get myself moving again when I'm feeling stuck or when I'm feeling overwhelmed or sort of incapacitated creatively by all the different forces that are happening in the world. And so if the things that I have to share today work for you, then that's great. If they don't, that's also fine. But I hope that I can at least throw some ideas out there that might help somebody to get themselves unstuck. So to start this off, I want to show you some of the videos that I was making, especially right at the very beginning of the stay-at-home order. So let's check those out. So those were 4 videos that I made at the very beginning of all of the stay-at-home order, and I used a free app called Acapella to make those, and I'll demonstrate and talk more about that app later. But I made those 4 videos using objects that I had been spending a lot of time with during quarantine. So a jigsaw puzzle, my houseplants, the third thing was an adjustable dumbbell that had been taken apart into all the separate weights. And then the last thing was coffee, obviously, because though those weren't anything super groundbreaking or political or like super important, I started making those videos as part of a daily practice. So one thing that I've found is really, really helpful in getting unstuck is making myself make something every single day. It doesn't have to be good, it doesn't have to be big, but it has to be something. So, and what I found from doing that is that, number one, once I had all of my stuff already kind of set up and I was already working with it, then from there it was a lot easier for me to keep going and to work longer. So if I made one video, then I might get inspired to make another video, or once I had the creative ideas flowing, I might be inspired to sit down and write for a while. So it was just a task to help me start making something. Once I started doing that, once I did it for a few days, I started to think about ideas for other videos like during my day. So for example, one day I was working out and realized that when I was clanking my weights back together, they made some cool sounds. So I thought, oh hey, maybe I should make a video with my weights, because it's something I've been noticing, but it's not necessarily something I'm going to write a big like concerto for adjustable dumbbells. But this is a good simple way to kind of explore that idea. So I would start to think of other ideas, and then having that place, having those little videos in that daily practice gave me a place to put all the ideas I was coming up with. Once I had that momentum built up from doing that every day, I eventually stopped making the videos every day because I started to channel that momentum into other things. So instead of having to make a video every day, maybe I would instead take that energy and put it towards working on a piece that I was composing, or writing for something for a zine that I'm working on, or whatever. But the important part was just that the daily practice kind of helped me get my wheels turning, and then once that happened, I could dig into other things a lot more easily.